Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Glad you made it. We're rocking and rolling. We're doing it on Wednesday, April the 24th. Boys and girls, if you're just joining me from wherever you're tuning in from, if it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? Every Wednesday and Friday. Dropped on Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel for the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSadra. If you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show, become a member. Small little community, small little syndicate, global nonetheless, taking over one teeny tiny step at a time. And by taking over, I mean sharing, because that's caring, baby. Doing it. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. If you're tuning in from Canada, Wagwan, my Canucks. Down south in the United States, as per usual, hello. Aloha. Over there in Mexico, South America, over there in Africa, over there in Europe, over there in the Asias, over there in the Middle East, over there in Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Cuba, Finland, Spain, what's going on in Senegal, Congo, Zimbabwe, friggin' Iceland, Greenland, Ireland, the UK in general. Hope you're all doing well. Hello there, governor. Hope you're top of the morning to us. Hope everybody's doing well. It is Wednesday. Rocking and rolling. Feeling the vibes. Coming inside each other to once again join forces to do incredible, amazing things concerning nothing, everything but like nothing at the same time. What's going on with me? What's going on with you? What's going on around the world? Beautiful stories that are taking place each and every day. I'd like to start with this. We'll see where it takes us. Belgian man just got freed from charges. What charges you're asking? He was being charged with potentially drinking and driving, I believe. And then later on, they found out through testing, putting test tubes inside of him, through taste testing him, through milking him and then tasting his milk, through penetrating all his orifices to see where he oozes what kind of substance and what kind of liquids, and then taking that to the lab and then putting it in a petri dish and then putting that under a microscope and then putting the microscope under a microscope and then having a fella look through the microscope and then having another fella look through the fella who's looking through the microscope, which is crazy because you'd have a fella looking through the microscope and another fella with his eyes right into the other fella's assholes, and then trying to look through his eyes, because that's the best view. You look through another asshole that's looking through a... All right, let's get it going. Regardless, it is what it is, and it's Wednesday. And yeah, he got freed from charges of it by, I believe, drinking and driving. Why? Because they thought he was drunk. They thought he was, but the test results came back. Did a zip zap, did a little scanning, did a little taste test, as I said before, and they found out this beautiful fella happens to be suffering, or is it? And we'll get to that. He's deemed to be suffering from ABS, auto brewery syndrome. That's when your body produces its own alcohol, which is, let's get into it, the pros and cons of producing your own alcohol. Your body is a alcohol producing machine, just amongst one of the substances that your body happens to produce. And that's the thing, if your body's producing free beers, free wine, first of all, I'll say this man is, I would say JC vibes. I would say JC, he's not going out there producing for mass. This is not scalable as of yet. We've yet to see that happen, but he is producing his own alcohol, just using his own body, which is great because you don't have any overhead like that. You don't have to go get, you don't have to go get a lab. You don't have to go get, You don't have to start, refining liquids and diluting and mixing and, trying to heat things up in beakers and, it's great. So in terms of pros, you're producing your own alcohol, which is always, I'm assuming, giving you a bit of, I'm not quite sure how it works, to be honest with you. I'd like to find out more. If your body can produce its own alcohol, can you get a buzz? Does it feel like you're drinking? Does it give you the, and is it producing all day, every day, 24/7, 365, 52 a year? How does that work? So does that mean this fella is basically always buzzed or always a little bit, which I appreciate. That's my sort of fella or lady. If you're a little bit buzzed and it's free, it's not costing anybody anything, that is beautiful. So congratulations on getting exonerated, on getting freed, on getting, the charges dropped to my Belgian beautiful friend. And it's great because that's the thing. If anybody ever asks you, why weren't you, whether relationships, something comes up in a relationship, you could always blame it on, I'm sorry, babes. I'm always suffering from this ABS. You don't know what it feels like to be producing your own alcohol in your own body, which is true because most people don't, but this guy can. Blame it on the little buzz, blame it on the little alcohol in your system. But that's the thing, this is just for personal use. It would have been nice if he was, and I'm curious to know if we could somehow tap into this fella. If he were to tap a vein, if he were to tap a artery, if you were to tap if you were to suck on something long enough, would you feel, if you're his lady or if you're his fella, I don't know the circumstances, and maybe he's even single, I don't know, but somebody's sucking off something at one point or another. If you're sucking off this fella, are you getting a little buzz because you're taking in alcoholic semen? That'd be alcoholic, semen infused with alcohol. That's something there. There's something there. I bet you we can, again, this is for personal use. So that's the downside of it is you are always feeling a little bit, I guess maybe that's not up to you. Maybe you're always feeling a little bit tipsy, which is, it's nice to have options. Like, I'm gonna, from this time to this time, I'm gonna feel tipsy. I'm gonna feel buzzed. I'm gonna feel lit from this time to this time, and then take a break. But then if your body's constantly producing its own alcohol, you're just, which is nice. And again, they want to say suffer, but I say legitimately you're benefiting from it. A lot of people have to go pay, so much money to get lit, so much money to buy beers, whiskey, friggin' all sorts of spirits. But you're doing it for free, which is congratulations to you and your family. And again, if you can tap this thing, if you can put a breast pump on your nips and somehow fucking squeeze long enough and get some sort of secretion out of that nipple, maybe it's alcoholic, maybe you can, again, I don't know how much we can scale this thing, but for an individual, not too shabs. And again, a little bit Christ-like. I'm not gonna lie to you. Again, he's not going out there turning water into wine, but he is self-producing his own alcohol. I say you get a little bit, with the right kind of branding, we could have you just fly around and people sucking on your toes and on your fingertips, and you, again, secreting a little bit of whatever, and people getting drunk off a person, which is pretty lit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Again, this is not easy because you can't put them on a shelf. There's not multiple versions of this fella. It's just one that I know of, unless we get all sorts of people that produce their own alcohol. Maybe there are other ones suffering in silence. If it's even suffering, maybe we get a whole bunch of them and produce a man-made, for humans, by humans, alcoholic beverages. And it's just men and women who secrete alcohol through their body, and we just, gather their jizz and vag cum and, put it in a, refine it, of course, shake and not stir it, but then, mass produce that shit. Human-made alcohol. We can do it together. Glad you made it. Thank you for joining me again. But that's just, and that goes to show your body is very mysterious. So get to know your body. Maybe your body's producing something you don't know, which is nice. What other substances could our bodies constantly be producing? Oh, a little bit of DMT, a little dimethyltryptamine, baby. A little bit of that's always going on. Sure, we'd like a little bit more. How do you tap into that? So figure it out. Let's get it going. Sharing is caring. If you're producing alcohol, enjoy it. Don't look at it as I'm suffrage. I'm major suffrage right now. No, dude. Relax, enjoy. You're Belgian, rocking and rolling. Just got free, charges dropped. Right now is a perfect time for you to drop an album, I'd say. And yeah, anybody else suffering from ABS, enjoy it. Please, the rest of us have to go spend hard-earned dollars or euros or pounds or whatevs, or yens, or wherever you are. I don't know what you're, but also, enjoy, have fun. And that's just a little bit of global events that are occurring each and every day, right underneath our noses, right in front of our eyes, right in front of our tits, right in front of my nutsack, every day. Beautiful stories. Been wondering, just like you guys and gals out there, you see everybody, it's nice that it's the season to be, it's spring. We're getting into summer soon. People are going to be traveling, this, that, and the other. People are going to be taking flights. But what if I told you there's a better way to fly? What if I told you, instead of having to hop on an airplane, sharing a little tin can with, I don't know, a bunch of other people that you don't even know, what if I said there's an alternative, more natural way? I did a little bit of research. Okay, I did a ton of research. Spent hours and hours researching. Googling and coming up with the best possible solutions to alternative modes of travel in terms of flight. And I came up with a perfect solution for each and every one of us. Some of us at least. I figured it takes us roughly 1,500 to 2,000 pigeons for you to actually be able to take flight. So if we gather 1,500 pigeons and get hooks and attach these pigeons to your back via some sort of hook mechanism, you could actually be taking flight. 1,500 to 2,000 pigeons. Instead of them always just wondering where they're flying, or they're just doing their regular routines, put them to use. I think it's time that the animal kingdom and the human kingdom once again got reacquainted and made better usage of each other's time and efforts. So next time you see a flock of pigeons, don't just look at yourself and wish and just be like, oh, I wish I could have taken flight with these, but you now can. And it only takes 1,500 to 2,000, depending on how many. I believe for like a 200-pound person can easily take flight just to be safe with 2,000 pigeons. That is nothing. It's safe. It's effective. Definitely environmentally friendly. Now the hooks on your back are gonna have to be some sort of, I'm not sure how we're gonna attach those. You will bleed a little bit from your back. You will. These hooks are going right into your skin, right in the back of your skin, and it's fine though. You're bleeding a little bit, but everybody bleeds a little bit. So it's nothing to, it's nothing to fret over. It's nothing to, cry over. It's nothing to, oh, my back is bleeding. Like, oh, my shoulder just ripped. It's okay. It's fine. Big picture, you're now flying with pigeons. The good thing is they're above you, which means they're going to be shitting on you. And I know immediately you're thinking that's not positive. It is definitely positive. Because if they're shitting on you, and you're up there as well. In terms of airspace, once you've taken flight, you too can shit. You too. So I know they might be shitting on. There's 1,500 to 2,000 of them. They're probably shitting on you. Some of them are. But guess what? You're up there as well. Now you get to shit on the ground as well. So experience, and you can't do that in planes. You simply can't, which sucks for the amount of money we're paying. The fact that you can't shit from planes, which brings me to my next innovation, I think it's time to change planes just a little bit. Instead of having individuals get up, oh, do you want the aisle seat, or you want the middle seat, or you want the window seat, which seat? I don't know, is my bladder empty? I don't know, is my catheter in? I don't know, are my livers working? I don't know, did I take a shit before I got on the plane? Did I get nervous and keep it all in for the flight? Do I want to share with everybody? And guess what? Now you're gonna have to be bumping into everybody. There's babies crying. There's fat people that you're gonna have to squeeze. Oh, it's just so uncomfortable. But guess what? What if I told you the bathroom doesn't need to be in one it doesn't need to be a bathroom? What if I said every seat on the plane could potentially turn into a toilet bowl? Ladies and gentlemen, turning every seat on the airplane into toilet bowl. So you don't have to get up. You can just go right then and there. Just simply get up, unbuckle your seatbelt, pull your pants down. Maybe we can get a curtain system going, just 2 curtains, one in the front, one in the side, just so people don't see. And that's the beauty of curtains. So divide the seats, buy curtains, and then you can take a shit right there on your, it's great. It's a fantastic innovation. Something's got to give. Something's got to change. We've had the same planes for so long now. I'm tired of planes being the same, to be honest with you. And not just the same too. The quality's kind of gone down. Not going to say overall services. I don't know. Just saying. So converting airplane seats into seats that are also toilet bowls. I think we got something going on. I know this sounds like you're like, let's jump on this together. Let's not rush into it. Are you all right? One step at a time. I know this is a great idea. Everybody's going to want to, everybody's want to go, you'll get your piece. Don't worry. Again, sharing is caring. Airplane seats converted into toilets. Let us all enjoy the flight in peace. And again, unless you don't want a flight with an airplane, pigeons. 1,500 to 2,000. I think that's a bargain. You put them to use. They're not always just like wandering around where, I'm going to just, we're just a flock of pigeons in the middle of a parking lot. We don't know where to go. What do we do with our time? They like it. They like the exercise. They like it. Put it to use. Don't think about it too much. Let's get it going together. Pigeons and humans coming together. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I also have another idea that I'd like to share with you. I have so many ideas, and that's what this is. This is us exchanging ideas, great ideas. Ideas that you might have thought about as well. Ideas that are somewhere in the ether, and we're just like, reaching out there, grabbing onto some of them and pulling them back down. And what is this? Let me taste this little idea. And this idea is actually very tasty. I might say that. What is it I'm talking about? Pepperoni flavored nipples, ladies and gentlemen. Why does it look like a pepperoni slice, but it doesn't taste like a pepperoni slice? Let's just have that for a sec. Let's just sit on that for a second. Why don't nipples taste like pepperoni when they most often look like pepperoni? Let's just take a moment for a second. Let's just let that sink in. Thousands of years, hundreds of thousands, millions of years of evolution of human species intermingling, sucking on tits, sucking on nips. Yeah, we've had nobody walk in and say, that nipple tasted like pepperoni. Why not? Why not? If it walks like a pepperoni slice, if it talks like a pepperoni slice, why doesn't it taste like a pepperoni slice? Is on everybody's mind. Rest your frontal cortex. Let's just calm down for a second together. We can get this going. I believe it's 2024. I'm tired of nipples not tasting like pepperoni slices just because we are so close. Maybe we could use some sort of a spray your nipples with some sort of pepperoni flavored fragrance that you can actually eat as well. That's not some sort of I don't want some sort of toxic chemical in there on your nips, because there's going to be people consuming it. It's going to be on your body. But I'm sure in 2024 we can get some sort of a cream or some sort of a ointment or some sort of a spray. Just a couple of little right there. And the next thing you know, finish work 7-8 p.m. You've come home, you've had dinner, bottle of wine is cracked open, tits are being sucked on. And guess what? It feels like you're sucking on pepperoni. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's so obvious. It's been right in front of us, staring us right in the face, man. I'm sick and tired of the nipples that don't taste like pepperoni. I've had enough. I think this is something that we could all collectively gather around and collectively come together, make a decision, move forward, and be okay with it. And say, yes, we did. Yes, we can. Yes, we will. No more holding yourself back. No more second guessing. No more saying, no, that can't be done. There's so many things they said that can't be done. But guess what? We've done it. We've been doing it. We've been doing it together. So pepperoni flavored nipples. And guess what? If you're out there, and this will help too for people who are fighting obesity and always if you feel like you're fighting obesity, if you're like, man, I wish I could eat a little bit less, but feel like I'm eating a little bit, suck on some titties, that tastes like pepperoni. That way your mind is being tricked into thinking you're eating food, but you're actually sucking on titties, which is great. And now you're hard. Now you're wet with half the calories. With 0 calories actually, no calories. Maybe you could put, if you're like, I like to get a little bit of energy, you could rub some butter on it. Put some butter on your nips, and if it tastes like bacon, I mean, what are we doing here? Let us not waste time. Let us not sit here and reminisce about the fact that, yes, we got the technology, but do we let it out for, mass consumption? Why not? 2024, I think as responsible adults, we can all agree that nipples are being wasted on it. It's just, put it to use, people. Let's get it going. Let's make a good thing happen. Let's have Christmas come early this year. I believe in you, and I know that with your support, with your help, we can do this together. Dun, 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 dun. Lesbians, lions, lanterns, libraries, lactose. Lesbians, lions, libraries, lanterns, lactose. Lesbians, lions, libraries, lactose, lanterns. Let us use these 5 words and see where it takes us. Lesbians are like lions, you could say. Lesbians are like, because some of them take pride. There's that. Lesbians and lions often look very similar in terms of, got the lion's manes. A lot of lesbians have nice hair. A lot of lesbians are lactose. In fact, a lot of lesbians, and in order to find that out, you'd have to go to the library and research, are lesbians lactose? And is there a connection between them being lactose and having lion-like features? You're gonna have to go to the library and read about lesbians and their ability to digest milk, essentially. So go to and that's the thing too, you might not have enough time to go during the daytime, and that's when you're gonna have to resort on using a lantern. In order to do proper research about lesbians being lactose or not, you might have to fight off a few lions in the dark, use a lantern, go to the library, do research, figure it out, read through the pages, and yes, all lesbians are lactose intolerant. And again, the library might be guarded by a bunch of lions, so you're gonna have to fight off it's that kind of library, you never know. Wouldn't it be better if libraries were guarded by lions? Wouldn't it make the library a little bit more exciting? Is that why we're seeing a decline in people going to the library? Perhaps if you put a couple of lions outside the library, that way you get a lot of people going to the library and fighting off lions, maybe in the dark using lanterns, and not having to sit down and figure out that lesbians are indeed what? Lactose intolerant. Great. And if any lesbian walks up to you and tells you they're not lactose intolerant, I've heard that before. In fact, I believe they should have a group. I believe they should have Lactose Intolerant Lesbians Association. Look into it. And I've seen plenty of lesbians drink titty milk, and I too have seen a lot of lesbians drink titty milk. But ask yourself, did they swallow? Okay, fine. They may have swallowed. That's fine. So perhaps this whole lactose intolerant community of lesbians is all a facade. Maybe it's a sham. Maybe they love milk. Maybe take that lantern, fight a couple of lions by the local library, do a little bit more extensive research, and find out that this whole lactose intolerant community of lesbians are indeed fictitious. Unless that's what they want us to believe. So I don't know, do your own research, but just say it. Think about it. Put it on the back burner. Bring it to the front, flip it over. Put it up top, let it get smoked. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, We are gathered here again, once again. It is Wednesday, we're doing it. And I'll say this. I will say this. But before I say this, let us just take a second. Let us think of people who come before us, who paved the way, who perhaps never had the chance to have their stories told. But together we can tell their stories. So I guess now they're getting the chance to have their stories told. So once you hear this story, go tell a friend. And then have that friend tell another friend. And then have that friend tell another friend. And before you know it, the stories that were once untold are now being told, which is great. One person that I'd like to dedicate this story to is Fufu de la Poochi. Fufu de la Poochi, a great man. Some say he was a family man. Some say they've never seen him with a family. Fufu de la Poochi had a big heart. Fufu de la Poochi, you could say, was the head of the Linguini crime family, although if anybody should ask, you say that they're simply into the old pasta business. They are nothing but a humble pasta manufacturing family business. Start off in the basement, and sure, now they've got a little bit of success, and Fufu's nowhere to be seen. But you know, behind the scene, who's pulling the strings? The strings are being pulled by none other than the Fufu de la Poochi. That's right. So don't you go, a lot of people like to, it's easy because once you don't hear somebody, doing something, but then all of a sudden you see them somewhere doing something, it's easy for you to say, oh, I know Fufu de la Poochi, I know where you got it, and that's the thing. People say things that they just simply don't know nothing about. Fufu de la Poochi, respectable man in the community. I would say, if you look into the work that he's done, de la Poochi has put a lot of effort into starting community outreach programs. That's when you have a community try to outreach, and they do programming. It's right there. You just got to look it up. Now, Fufu de la Poochi is not the type to be messed with. Should de la Poochi be shoved in a corner, put in a little tight spot? De la Poochi is, he has got a way of dealing with his foes that is just unheard of, unrivaled. Never, and that's the thing. He will, with mad acts of kindness, de la Poochi will put his competition in a hard spot. And with lots of love, with lots of devotion, he will turn those foes into business partners. That's right, because de la Poochi at the end of the day is a businessman. So again, many things, so many outreach programs, community service programs, community centers, community peripheries, community outskirts. Works with people, the elderly. But again, if push comes to shove, de la Poochi is, he had, I could say this, yes, and everybody, if you look into anybody's past, there is always, so yes, de la Poochi, legend has it that de la Poochi had a temper. But again, one of his best tactics of using his temper was to force that temper into something that just turned into massive amounts of love. So when an enemy's coming forward, he's just like, oh, let's hang out. Let us put arms around each other's necks, as de la Poochi would say, and put our arms around each other's necks and just walk down and maybe even go for a frolic, maybe get a little bit lit in the fields and just think about all the business that we could potentially do together. Or even if it's not even business, we could just do pleasure. Fuck it, let's just do pleasure. So de la Poochi he was a man of business and pleasure. You could say that. One thing that's fact, de la Poochi, temper, big heart, treated his enemies with nothing more than love. Ample amounts of love, unforeseen, never seen before amounts of love. There were stories of him, people would be fronting, other family members from big families who were also just nothing more than pasta manufacturing companies. I'm not gonna go say, I'm not gonna, name names, Ziti was there, you could say. Ziti family was there, you could say that. Spaghetti was there, you could say that. Spaghetti family was there. But that's the thing, one time I have heard that certain people did wake up in their beds with actual full-grown horses in their beds. Ah! Oh! That's right, Mr. Linguini has gifted you. That's right, Della Poochi is also known as Mr. Linguini because, again, head of the old Linguini family. Oh, he's gifted you a full horse, and that's right. You thought it's gonna be a horse's head, but no, a full horse, a full-grown horse inside your head. And I ask you this: which is more scary, a horse's head or a full-grown horse that you can ride? Oh my God, where am I gonna put this horse? This horse is massive. This horse is probably gonna consume how much? What kind of food does this horse even consume? Where am I gonna? Now you're gonna have to build a staple. Now you're gonna have to go get hay. Now you're gonna have to take riding lessons. Now you're gonna have to get a little jockey. Where are you gonna find a jockey when you've not even been prepared for this? And now you're wishing, oh, I wish I got a horse's head, but now you got a full-grown horse in your bed. Yeehaw, saddle up. And he's gifted you assless chaps as well. So now you got a full-grown horse, assless chaps, no jockey. Next thing you know, you're getting yourself some sort of crack fiend midget in the downtown core area, bringing him back, putting a jockey suit on him and telling him, oh, jockey this horse. First, everything's going well, but little by little, things start spiraling. And the horse and the jockey become one. It's just like, oh, it's scary shit. So be careful out there. But also take caution and throw caution at the wind. Let us throw caution to the wind together. Ah, Chuck. Ah, there it is. Caution to the wind. Ride that pony. Ride that little, ride the jockey. If the pony's not rideable or riddable, ride the jockey. But that's just so you know. That's Mr. Della Poochi. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've been thinking of it's time that we put technology to use and we merge it with vegetation and plants. I'm talking specifically man-eating plants, carnivorous plants that eat animals, bugs, meat essentially. They're meat eaters, they're man-eating. But the worst thing about a man-eating plant is that it's stationary, it doesn't go anywhere. But what if I told you that we could put them on wheels and we could actually wheel them off to places? And next thing you know, your plant is no longer just a plant that eats meat, but it's now become your pet. So instead of going out there and maybe thinking of getting yourself a cat or a dog, because sure, they make lovely pets. Oh, traditional classic pets. Top 2 answer is cats and dogs, man's best friend, and a second close. I'll say this, man-eating plants can easily take over the pet industry and they could easily become the #1 pets in North America. I'm not quite sure about other markets, but I think we're ready for it. Man-eating plants are great because if you put them on wheels, if you just, insert a little Neuralink in their little tiny heads, they could think about all the mosquito bites they'll save you from if you're just wheeling around a little man-eating plant, which is great. And there's different types of them. There's types that I don't know all their names and everything, but some of them look like cups with little lids on top, and they're just waiting ever so slowly in nature for meat to fly by, insects, little bugs to come in, and they'll just like, oh, let me just eat this little fly over here. But if you wheel them around and you introduce them to your habitat, if you're at cottage country, I'll say this: don't be going around buying hazardous material and spraying yourself with. You're finding, you're like, how do I keep the mosquitoes away? How do I keep Lyme disease away? And you're getting a skunk and you're rubbing its ass raw right there on your face and on your crotch, and you're burning and you're grabbing poison ivy because you heard poison ivy with, a mixture of a little bit of skunk juice is gonna do you well and keep the mosquitoes away or keep the doctor away or just keep generally just people away from you. That's an old wives' tale. You know what works? Man-eating carnivorous plants on wheels. And the damn shame is that they've always been stationary. Not anymore. Bring them around. Let's put them on wheels. Give them the AI tools that they need. Chip them up. Let's have these bitches just working for us. What do you say? And the beauty of it is you can actually get head from these carnivorous plants as well. Some of them look like they have enough capacity to take down some cack. Not quite sure what the ladies will do, but I'm sure we can figure out some that'll actually, you know, maybe if we can find some that'll actually give ladies head too, then that way we can, both sexes could go out there and enjoy the carnivorous plants on wheels that happen to take care of your mosquito problem, and every occasion, you know, every now and again give you a little bit of head. So think about that, put it on the back burner, but also I don't want this to just be something that we're just going to sleep on. I don't want this to be a missed opportunity. So please get in touch with your labor union. Get in touch with people who are in charge of Congress. Get in touch with the provincial government. Get in touch with your Senate. I'm just naming things that are, you know, I don't know. Maybe you're living in a country that has a Senate. Maybe you're living in a country that has provinces and municipalities and judicial systems. And maybe, I don't know where you're living. I'm just saying collectively, let us come together and contact. Why don't you contact somebody who's got some, you know, pull in legislation in terms of passing laws, so we can actually get these plants to be our pets. And I know it is one of those controversial topics, because are they pets? Are they plants? I think they've only been categorized as plants given their stationary nature. But again, if we put them on wheels, I'm pretty sure that we can achieve pet status. So there you go. Mosquitoes taken care of. Companionship, yes. Every now and again getting head, yes. And they don't poop, so that's the beauty of it. They don't poop. You have to. No more kitty litter boxes. No more bending down as a full-grown male or a full-grown female and picking up dog shit and then walking about saying to yourself, "Oh, we are the dominant species on planet Earth," after you just picked up a bag of dog shit. Or oh, I love this kitty, so I will give my life for this kitty. And you're like, and as 2 seconds later, you're like, I'm on top of the food chain, as most people would say as soon as they, you know, pet cats or dogs. They pet the animals, and then you're like, I'm on top of the food chain. Are you? Are we at the top of the food chain? Or is this some sort of roost that is, you know, because I've thought about this, man. At best, we're probably the best, you know, caretakers of the food chain. I'm not quite sure about if we're like, I'm not sure we're you know, top of the food, because if you think about it, 75% of the earth, you know, 3/4 is water, and we don't even, you know, who runs that game? The wet game. The wet game is all about fishes and whales and octopus and sharks, and you know, so, and we can't even breathe there. So 75% of the world, we're not quite dominant. We don't even know what's in the water, man. Nobody knows. Who knows? In the depths of the ocean, oh, we're on top of the food chain. And again, flights, unless you're willing to put hooks in your back and fly with pigeons. Airspace. Abundant airspace. Who controls that? Friggin' birds? Dropping deuces on humans? Disrespecting us like that shit? So get a pigeon, fly over a couple of birds, drop a couple of deuces on some bird. Just drop a foot long on a couple of birds that have just built themselves a nest and are trying to feed their little baby birds. Shit on them for a second and be like, take that to the car wash, you dipshit. So, and that way maybe we could gain back a little bit more dominance, but you know, and then you got your pets that you look after and you treat like, you know, sometimes we treat them better than people. And again, you ask yourself, who is on top of the food chain? And in turn, you're like, well, we eat all animals. Yes, we eat all, and we could potentially eat all animals. And in circumstances and certain times throughout history, we've eaten all animals. Yeah, that's right. We've eaten all animals, and if push comes to shove, we will eat them again, all of them. But we do have our preferences. For the most time, when it's times of quote unquote peace, we only do eat a few animals. Sure, there's the, you know, you will go and, you know, you'll dabble in this, that, but the primary ones are chicken, fish, ham, beef. Those are, and then every once in a while you'll go get, maybe you got access to, you know, wild game and all that. But like, you know, outside of those things, everything else is like, it's not the, but given the opportunity, any of these little fuckers will eat any of us, and they wouldn't even care without any sort of thought. Or they would, if it were like if a whole colony of ants, man-eating ants, would just crawl upon you and just eat you, and they wouldn't even blink an eye, because they don't have eyes, man. They're fucking tiny. Because ants don't have eyes. You heard it here first, man. Okay, fine, they got eyes, but it's tiny, so they might as well not have eyes. Stupid ants. Love ants. But still, I'm just saying, this whole conception of us being the dominant, you know, we're on top of the food pyramid, man. It's like, you know, it's fish, dairy, vegetables, and we're on top eating all of it. Are we though? Are we? Okay, maybe we are. But maybe we're not. But maybe we're not, man. Maybe we're not. And even when we do kill them for food, for consumption, we make sure that they're taken care of. We make sure that there's enough of them. We make sure that they get to produce again so that we can eat them again. It's not like we just go out and all willingly just eat all of them. That's how species get extinct. But if it was up to apes, or if it was up to jaguars, they just eat all humans. And we're just like, jungle, who runs that shit? All sorts of animals are just, you know, it's gang territory for animals, basically. If you're in the depths of the jungle, that is gang territory, and they do not care, man. They do not care. So again, this whole top of the food chain thing just got me a little bit. I want to share with you guys and gals. This is about us growing together. I think we just cracked open a window, or maybe a door into something that's worth peeking through. Who knows? FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, was just signed off by the Senate again, once again. This is concerning the United States and the US, our neighbors, our neighborinos. And basically it's an act that was passed a while ago. Not quite sure exactly when. Maybe around 9/11. Maybe before that. Maybe in the 70s. I actually forget at this point, but it doesn't matter. It's an act, and it got passed once again. It was about to expire, but then it got passed. It got signed off again. FISA, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, allows the government to essentially watch the citizens without a warrant, to listen to the citizens without warrants. And that's the thing. It's not just, this is, yeah, I don't know. This is happening. It just got, the bigger thing that got me concerned was just like, is privacy completely dead? Is it, are we done with privacy? Is that notions of like, you know, it's one thing to go and get a warrant to tap somebody's phone to listen to a conversation or hack into somebody's emails, maybe with a warrant, but to have no warrant and just do mass surveillance, AKA ass surveillance, without a warrant, man, I don't know how I feel about that, ladies and gents. And it happens all the time. And it's not just, and it's all governments doing it all the time. So it's like, you got your own government looking out on, you know, for your security, to looking on your ass. They're looking at you, doing things for your safety and security without a warrant, spying on citizens. And then you got foreign governments doing that at the same. So I'm just like, it's just one of those things that I'm just like, man, I guess it is that privacy is dead, isn't it? So I guess if we're gonna have privacy be dead, if we're like, it's done, right? And not that, like, again, for me and you, it doesn't really, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it does, but it's one of those things, like, I don't like the argument that says, oh, I've got nothing to hide, so I don't care. It's not about that. It's one of those things that privacy is a thing that we should, I believe, you know, unless it comes with perks. Unless, like, if you're gonna, I wish, if we are going to have some sort of like ass surveillance, that there is actual, like, you know, I would like every person to get their own government agent. That's what I'm talking about. People who would watch over you. People who come sit in the bathroom while I'm taking a dump. Or watch me jerk off. Like, actually do it though. And I don't want an agent that enjoys it. I want an agent who's a little bit uncomfortable with the whole circumstance. But it's that time again. And yes, it is that time again. Exactly, it's that time again. Or you only want to watch for the good times. Fair weather friends or agents. So yeah, are we completely cool with that? If yes, would you like your own agent to actually watch over you? But then you need agents to watch over the agents. And then you need other agents to watch over those agents. And then you need other agents to watch over the agents who are watching over the agents who are watching over the agents. So it's gonna be a lot of people watching. So it's gonna be like the song says. I always feel like somebody's washing me. Always feel like somebody's washing me. Not me personally, that's what the song says. I'm just saying, yeah, it does often feel like somebody's washing me. You be in the bathtub, you be in the shower, all of a sudden there's two hands cleansing, and then there's another hand. Where'd that come from? Up in the crevice, up in the orifices, up in the what? There's a finger in your cockhole, it hurts. What's going on? I'm getting finger fucked, because I'm always feel like somebody's washing me. It would be, but that's the thing. That's exactly it. I would like somebody to be washing me. That's the conclusion that we just came to right here. I do wish there was somebody who was actually washing me. Can we make that happen, FISA? So that's the thing, yeah. So it does have, it's, our own governments constantly are, that's the thing. Yeah, I think privacy is, I believe it is dead. I believe it's dead, right? It's dead. It's completely dead. Let's just take it to the back and or no, maybe it's something worth something. Something's worth something, and somebody's got something. So it's, I don't know. All I'm saying is there were times, it just feels, the only thing I have with it is just like when the word privacy comes, I just think of it as a concept that it's just like a romanticized idea that belonged to the past. I don't ever know if we're gonna ever get it back. And again, I'm not concerned personally for myself, rather just the entire concept of privacy in and of itself. Just like I'm not worried about me. But at the same time, I'm just saying, like, it is one of those things where, like, we used to hold it near and dear not too long ago. People are like, oh, I don't even want my name in the phone book, so I like my privacy, man. Or whatever. People said something like that. People, like, took their privacy and, like, shoved it somewhere deep inside them. Deep, where nobody's, where is it? It's, if you want to get it, it's gonna be dirty and messy because I put it up my rectum all the way it's inside, like 7 feet inside. Try getting it without getting your hands dirty. Try fella. And then you had people fighting over it, and then they came out with just hands covered in shit, and guess what? Your privacy's still intact. But now it's like, foreign governments, China's always watching, which is great. Hi, China. Subscribe if you're in China watching. It would be nice. Yeah, it would be nice to, so I'm not quite sure. Is that something that's just of the past? Do we should just all just like be like, but also if like somebody is, or if like, I don't even think it's a person anymore. I think it would just be allocated to like technology. I think they'd probably have some sort of mechanism where like, they're, looking for words in emails or not even listening. Just like, I guess there is like, when you're having conversations, certain words might just like trigger, like the AI might get triggered and just start, by hearing certain words. So these are just mechanisms that are, and I don't even know nothing about nothing. I'm just saying, man, it's just curious to think about the concept of privacy. That's all I'm trying to say here. And again, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Not me personally. Nobody's watching me. Nobody is. I've been showering solo for quite some time now. It would be nice to get in a bubble bath and just get a little rubber duck and, squeeze both palms together and squirt a little bit of water on someone's face and be like, man, isn't this a great afternoon? So all I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Wednesday. I believe that together we can have a lot of fun. Wherever you are, I hope that you're sharpening your nipples. I hope that you are practicing levitating. I hope that you are going after whatever it is that you're going after. If you are in the middle of taking a dump and watching this video on your phone, squeeze harder. Don't wait for it to naturally come out of your asshole. Push harder, fella, lady. If you're watching sitting on the cat, push. I know what they tell you a lot of things that aren't true. Like eating pussy and jumping right into the pool. They tell you wait 30 minutes. You're gonna burst an appendix. It's, man, fake news, man. I'll say that. So you can eat pussy and jump in the pool right after. I'll tell you that. Done it. Nothing happens. Only good memories are made. And again, they tell you don't push when you're sitting. Push. You want to save time and you want it to just get out. So you're like, they tell you don't push and they tell you don't sit too long. They want you just hovering above the toilet and not even pushing and pulling, just hovering above. Don't sit too long. Hover on top of the toilet bowl and just, so how's that work? I don't think so. If you look close, somebody's pushing, somebody's sitting. So the overall moral of today's story, ladies and gentlemen, is that dancing is an art which takes minimum 2 individuals, but the secret that they don't teach you in dance class, the secret, number one secret that they like to keep close to the chest for themselves, is that you don't step on your partner's toes, which is a farce, which is a fallacy, which is nothing more than a big fucking lie. The best dancers will tell you out there, whether you're in South America, whether you're in Spain, whether you're in the Middle East doing your belly dance with your fucking belly and it's nice and there's jingles all around your waist and you got a nice belly with nice tits, and the best thing you could be doing is stepping on your partner's toes. But they tell you, don't step on your partner's toes. First rule of dance class, don't step on your partner's. People want you to step on their toes. People love it. Dance partners love it when I personally, myself, when I'm dancing, if my partner is not stepping on my toes, I'm like, I stopped the dance. I'm like, are we even dancing at this point? What is going on? I've not had a toe step on my toes in quite some time. It's been 5 minutes. We're hanging out dancing, and you've yet to stomp on my feet. Do you even like me? Do you even love me? Is this going anywhere? So, number one rule, secret to dancing successfully, and you've seen it, they don't show it, but yes, dancing requires for your partner to step on your toes and you to step on their toes. The more it bleeds, the more pain you feel, the better the dance routine. I'll say it, I'm not supposed to, but if you can't walk the next day, then that's how you tango. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you guys. Boys and girls, thank you for joining me once again. I'll be back here again Friday. In the meantime, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Check out the old YouTube channel, the old new, it's the same channel. Subscribe there. Hey, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel and see what kind of changes start happening in your life for the best, for the better. Go ahead, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Check out patreon.com/RobSadri. Again, this is a fun little solo podcast that is taking the world by storm, one teeny tiny step at a time. So be the change. If you wanna subscribe, do it. If you don't want to subscribe, do it out of spite. Stick it to someone. I'm sure you've got somebody in your life that you like to stick it to. Go ahead and subscribe immediately. You are sticking it to them, whoever it is. But also, let us put sticking it to one another aside and come together. So do that. Subscribe on YouTube and then check out patreon.com/RobSadri if you'd like to fiscally and financially support the show and become a member, a lifelong member of the syndicate. And behind the scene, you know who's got your back? We won't say it, but we all know who. Mr. Poochi. Thank you very much, boys and girls, ladies and gents. I'll be back here again on Friday. Love you all. Peace out. Get out of here.